Jig here, and welcome back to Arkham Horror. So, we had a bit of a bad turn last turn. Basically, yeah, we we did a bunch of mistakes. I took a fourth action for him. I've got to be much more careful with these tokens. I'm just used to card games, just playing as many cards as you got resources for. I've got to get into the idea of a board game. This is really a board game with cards rather than Lord of the Rings, which is a card game. Like, this feels a lot more like a board game with like limited actions. I suppose Netrunner has limited actions, but anyway, so I did 4 actions for him. Now, I'm being told that Fog forced after attached location is successfully investigated, discard obscuring fog. Now, I've been reading this as you've investigated the location, as in you've cleared the location, but I'm being told that it actually just means if you have any successful investigation, it's just instantly cleared. So you only need to do 1 investigate action with the +2 shroud, which means I've made it a lot harder for myself, and I've burnt heaps of cards that I didn't need to. Now, I haven't checked that, but I think it could mean either one. I'm not quite sure. Successfully investigated. You'd think it would be after a successful investigate action. I don't know. Whatever. Obscurely worded card. I'll check that out. And there were some other issues. We moved Jenny Barnes to the attic, which means she takes a horror damage. I don't know whether we did that, so let's just... Well, she is at 7 horror, which is her maximum, so we definitely didn't do that. And also, down here, I've been forgetting about Zoe's ability. After you become engaged with an enemy, gain a resource. So she combos with her amulet here, which means you don't actually have to pay for the amulet, as you'll get a resource for the engagement and then you can pay. So I can't remember how many monsters we've engaged, so I'm just going to give her an extra resource just to, make it a bit easier on her phone. Typical, as soon as I start. Also, in the last turn, she had Frozen in Fear, one of them had Frozen in Fear, I think it was Wendy, and that doesn't actually stop... Here we are. It doesn't actually stop investigations. So last turn was a bit of a mess. There's probably a lot of other stuff that I missed, but we're just going to soldier on. Let's rock on. Draw out the Doom token. There are no monsters in play. And let's do this. Let's draw the 2 encounters. Ghoul Minion. Ooh. Oh, another Ancient Evil. Give me a break. Wow, that's all she seems to be getting. Okay, what about you? Bamly Bam. Ghoulish Minion. Okay, so that engages her. We get a free coin for her effect, and then we spend it for the cross to place a wound. And she gets Swarm of Rats. Sweet. Okay, so the monsters are starting to come out. And now it is time for our turn. Now we've got to do 12 clues. And notice how you've been I've been taking clues and placing them on my player mat recently. Because first round I just put it straight on the agenda, but you actually have to use a free action to place clues there. And now you can place them all together or one at a time, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to start moving our people back and placing their clues on, because we've got a pretty decent amount of clues. I think we've got 9 clues already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this place is depleted. So we can basically get into this. Let's try and do something. Now, we had an extra action, so depending on how well I do this turn, I might only do 2 actions, but if I need the 3rd action, I'm going to take it. So there. Let's do it. Ghoulish Minion, I'm going to attack this guy. We need 2 damage on him. We have a baseball bat in hand. We have a flashlight. So I'm going to discard the knife. That gives us +3 combat. That gives us a total of 5. Is it +3 combat? No, it's just +2. No, it's +3. So we do an attack action. That gives us a +1. And then we discard it. No, we don't. So we discard it, and that gives us +2. So we are at 4 fight. And we're versus a 2. So exhaust Duke to fight. This attack gives you 4 +1 damage with Duke. I think we're going to do it this way anyway. Let's draw. Bam. -1. Excellent. So that is 1 damage for beating the test, and we get an extra damage because of the +1, which is enough to kill. You blam. And then for his next action, he's going to move down here, and he's just going to dump his clues on it. Now, the original plan was to now do a Duke action and do a explore here, but because we took an extra turn last turn, we're just going to stop there. Okay, now it's Zoe's turn. Zoe doesn't have any monsters. She does have a flashlight, so we are going to try and get rid of this thing up here. Basically, we don't want this to, go off. So we just need to do an investigate, and it's versus a 1 shroud, so it's quite easy for us to beat. And just to ensure that we beat it, we're going to spend a clue, and that's going to give us -1, which means we automatically win, basically. I really don't know whether you can go into negatives. Like if I draw a -4 from the Chaos bag, and that would make my... Well, it'd still be -1. So I guess I have to draw anyway, because I might draw a Doom token. Okay, so there we go. Boom, 0. That's definitely a pass, which means we clear this. And this actually takes 2 actions. Got to do that first. And for her last action, she's going to move back here. And she is also going to drop her clues over here. So let me just group these up so they're a bit easier to see. We've got 5 and 5 Doom tokens. Okay, so now we have our Face Puncher. So what has she got? She has a 2 attack. She's got 4 combat by herself. So we're just going to do 1, and that is going to give her 5 combat. I think that's going to be plenty. Boom. 5 minus 1 is 4 combat. So that's 1 from here, 4 from her ability, which is enough to put a wound on here. And because it's now got 2 wounds, this guy is dead. Then for her second action, she's going to engage... Oh, can she do this? Is she at the same location? Yep, she's at the same location. So for her second action, she's going to engage the rat swarm. And she gets a token, a coin token for her ability. She spends it on Zoe's cross and puts 1 damage on the rat swarm, which is all we need to kill that. And then for her third action, she is also going to move back and dump her 2 clues. Yablam. And now we have Zoe. Okay, so Zoe is in a bit of a pickle. She's got lots of combat, but unfortunately, she's got no way of really exploring. She's got 3 intellect, which means she's an automatic fail for this 4. This is so hard. We've been really sort of a bit free with our flashlights. Who has flashlights? I think, yeah, we've still got a flashlight with Zoe. Got to get Zoe up there ASAP, but she had to get rid of this card, I'm pretty sure. So, what are we going to do here? We're going to play out burglary. That gives us an extra, so that gives us 4. And basically, we've got nothing else that helps. But this is our only chance. Wait, no one is even in the same location with her anymore. So we draw -1. So unfortunately, even though that's only a -1, because we're at 3-4, it's still a fail. We're gonna discard again just to draw one more time. Come on. Oh! You beauty. That was freaking awesome. So we get another clue. Bam. Now, there's no point in doing any more here because we are basically stuffed, right? So she's going to do this and draw a card. Okay, that gives her another. So we're going to do another test with the discard, because this is got a question mark on it, so we're back to 4. So let's draw again. Yeah, bam. Oh my God! Wow, that is freaking awesome. So we've got another 4 clues to put down. We have 7 total. We need one more clue to finish this whole thing. So that was epic. Very, very cool. And again, there are no enemies in play. So it's just the upkeep. You blam. And she gets a second resource. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's still good. Okay, so let's drag out a Doom token. 6 and engage. Ooh, distant voices. Okay, so I cannot play assets or events. That's harsh. Ravenous Ghoul. I think that's the worst monster, except for the prince up here. 5 times the investigator's health. That is insane. How are we going to beat that? Okay, so anyway, whatever. So that is a 3/3/3, and it's got Prey, lowest remaining health. And there's 3 people in this area. So we have 6 health, 8 health, 8 health. So this actually engages him. Okay. And let's draw 2 more encounters. Another distant voices and a ghoulish minion. So lots of monsters coming out. And what are we going to do here? Well, firstly, we need to kill this dude, right? Okay, so what have we got here? 3 damage and 2 damage. Okay, so she's got a knife already. So she's going to go first. Is she in the right zone? She is. So she's going to go bam and engage this dude. And then she's going to discard her knife. That's going to give her +2. So she's at 3. Yeah, so she's at 3, 4, 5. Okay, before she does the engage though, she's going to go bam, play out Where does this go? Talent. I guess it goes here. She's going to play out Hard Knocks, and that's going to cost her 2 resources. Then she does the engage. The Ravenous Ghoul comes over. We discard the knife, and we pay 1 resource. So we are a total of 2, 3, 6. Bam. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Wow, that is pretty bad. Okay, so we're just going to pay 1 more. And that gives us +1. So we're at 4 combat now. Oh, and that's a hit. But we now only get a single wound. So that was a real fail, unfortunately. Okay, so she has 1 combat. So this thing does 1 health, 1 sanity. So I think we can afford to do this. So we're going to go 2 and play out the baseball bat. But she has to take 1 health and 1 sanity because, see, like it's actually really hard to see. I didn't see it for ages, but if you look at the card, right where it says enemy here, it's got a little skull and a little heart, and that's how much damage it does. So it has an attack of opportunity if you do any action that isn't an attack. And then I'm going to go yablam. I don't even need to tap it. So that's fight +2. So we're at 3 fight. And let's draw 3 versus 2. Okay, this is going to be hard to do. Yablam -1. So that's fine. So this is +2, 3, -1, which means we're fighting for 2. And Ghoulish Minion gets 2 wounds, 1 for beating it and 1 for the baseball bat. And that is that. Nice work. And for her final action, she is going to move back here and dump all her clues. Okay, so that's 11 clues. We're almost finished. Okay, so who hasn't had a turn? This guy hasn't, and she hasn't. So for his first turn, he's going to go bam and do Duke. He gets to move and investigate. So he's investigating with 4. Oh, look at that. Another 0 draw. That is freaking awesome. He gets a clue. Yoink. And we've got a flashlight in hand. I think he's going to spend 1 resource and put out the dagger. And then he's going to move back to home and spend the clue. And I think this is instant, right? This is now finished. So I'm pretty sure that happens straight away. So let's have a look at this. We've got 12 clues versus 12 in requirement. Yoink. Using the barrel from the attic, you carry ice and snow from the cellar and hurl it at the barrier. The barrier sparks and shudders as it consumes the ice, then hisses and fades out of existence. The barrier blocking passage into the parlour has vanished. Reveal the parlour. Put the set-aside Lita Chantler into play in the parlour. Spawn the set-aside Ghoul Priest in the hallway. In the hallway! That's where we are! Horrible. So, bam, Bam. Yoink. Resign. This is too much for me. You run out the front door fleeing in panic. Okay. While Lita is not controlled by a player, she gains parley. Test investigation 4. If you succeed, take control of Lita. Okay, and what's she do? While you control Lita, she gains. Each investigator at your location gets +1. When an investigator at your location successfully attacks a monster enemy, that investigator deals +1 damage. Okay, so she's freaking awesome. Now, if I knew how this was going to spawn, I would have moved everybody out before I opened that door. This is the kind of mistake that you don't do on your second playthrough, you know what I mean? Like, now I know if I ever do this again, move everybody out. I really thought this thing would spawn over here. And I could use her to lob the dynamite. I still might lob the dynamite. This guy does have prey though. Highest fist, that's 2, 3, 1, 4. So she comes down here. We spend she gains a resource, we spend the resource, and we put 1 wound. Now, this is ridiculous. 5 times the amount investigated. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stick all the wounds required. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 20 health. And we've taken off 1. So we're well on the way to killing this monster. And it has... Oh, that's the phone again. Right, I'm back. So 19 health we've got to kill off this thing. That is ridiculous. What have we got here? Deal 3 damage to each enemy and to each investigator. Do we want to just blow him up? We've got 8. 3 health, that would kill her. 8 health. 6 health. So we don't want to do that, at least until Zoe moves out of dodge. And what's the test for this guy? We've got to beat 4 combat. Wow, this is like super hard. Okay, that might be... Is that for an evade? If that's a fight check. What else has she got? Only during your turn, engage any number of enemies at your location. We're all at the one location, so I can engage this enemy. It's only got 1 health, though. It needs another health taken off it. So, what we're going to do is... Why are they not flipped? Are they not flipping with my... Is he the only person who hasn't had a turn? I'm confused. I completely lost my train of thought because of that phone call. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, so... Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he... Yeah, right. So she... Yeah, right. It's because we only just revealed the priest. Okay, so this is bad. What have you done? A woman with a torch stands in your parlor, a glimmer of hatred in her eyes. What have you done to my barrier? She screams furiously. Before you can answer, a ghostly wail sounds behind you, and a creature wearing robes and a deer skull mask tears through the wall, advancing towards you. If the ghoul priest is defeated, advance. So we need to do 20 damage, and he's going to do 4 damage. So that's... Okay. Not good. This is going to be incredibly hard, if not impossible. So I think the first thing we've got to do is spend an action, engage this monster, and place a damage on it. And then we're going to test versus that monster using the knife. That gives us 3, so that is 4, 5. That is a dead monster. Because it's now got 2 health on it, so you blam. And now, we need to beat a 4 check. Fight. You get +1 for this attack. If you perform this attack against an enemy engaged with another investigator and you fail, you deal no damage. If this skill catch is successful during attack, the attack deals +1 damage. Play only during your turn. Engage any number of enemies at your location. Dynamite Blast. Successful horror. Okay, so basically, we've got the machete. That's +1 damage. So we're going to discard this. That gives us 4, 5, 6. And we're also going to play Vicious Blow for 7. So we're going 7 attack for the last action. Come on, don't fail me. Yes, another 0. Excellent. So we did 7 attack, but we get +1 attack for +1 damage for the knife. So we get 1 attack, +1 damage for the knife, and +1 damage for Vicious Blow. And just like that, we're down to 16 health. We've taken off 1 level of the investigators. But now we have our first enemy phase. Enemies with the hunter keyword move towards the nearest investigator. Each enemy attacks if able. So what happens is he exhausts. This is now discarded. This is also now discarded. So he exhausts, and wow, this is the first time I've actually had to resolve a combat, so I better look this up. Okay, so that is just means she just does 2 damage and 2 horror. That is insanely... how are we supposed to beat this? 4. Okay. And that is it. Let's refresh. Yablam. Oh, we draw a weakness. Great. Revelation. Put internal injury into play in your... At the end of your turn, take 1 direct damage. 2 actions to discard. That is harsh. Now, the question is... I'm pretty sure the monster untaps as well. We need to go get this Lita character. So... we add another Doom token, of course. 7. That means that is now completed as well. A feral beef, roughly humanoid with canine cast and hooves for feet, tears through the ground in front of you. Below the floor, you can see the vast tunnels beneath your house. Fiendish howling echoes from deep within the underground taverns. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a ghoul enemy is discarded. The lead investigator draws that enemy. Okay. You blam. Good, good, good. That's not a ghoul. Good. That's not a ghoul. Ghoul. Okay. And then we still have to draw the encounter cards for everybody. Grasping Hands, he has 3. -2, that means he takes 2 damage. Wow, this is suddenly looking like this Ghoulish Priest seems disproportionately difficult compared to all the other guys. Another test. This is a test 3. -3. That's 3 damage. It is a swarm of rats, which we kill instantly using the cross. And another test 3 mind. Oh my god. Let's discard this and draw that again. Oh! It's even worse. So that is 3 horror. Oh. Wow. She's only got 2 horror left. Okay, so this is a horrendous situation. For starters, we've got this guy. So we'll do attack action. So that's 2 plus 1. No. So we're going to do a Duke attack action, which gives him 4 plus 1 damage. So that's a ghoul. And that is also good. So that's -2 versus 2. So we are 1, 2. Oh, so we're 4 minus 2, which means that's enough to kill because we put 2 damage on it. His second action is going to be to discard this to ready Duke. Then he's going to exhaust Duke again to come up to here and do the... Oh wait, this takes 2 actions, doesn't it? Hang on. Parley... This doesn't investigate. I don't think we can use that as an investigate. So he just moves here. And then he does... Okay, so we're not going to do that. So for his second action... He's going to engage the priest. And... +2, +1 damage. So that doesn't make it... Yeah, so he's just going to exhaust Duke again to attack the priest. Yeah, this is the last action. Bam. Ooh. Come on, be good. So he's going to discard this to make it 5. Bam. 5 minus 1 because we've killed the other ghoul. This is discarded. Which means that does succeed. That's another 2 wounds. We still don't get to activate Rabbit's Foot. Okay, and now this chick, what's she got? Lots of fast feet. Probably should have used that before. After you evade an enemy, draw a card. Deal 2 damage to an exhausted enemy at your location. So how do enemies exhaust? I mean, don't they untap in the refresh phase? Ready all exhausted cards. So how does sneak attack ever work? Well, there's something wrong with my understanding of combat because the investigator phase is before the enemy's attack, right? So the enemies exhaust when they attack, but how are they exhausted ever during the investigator phase? Because they untap. Not quite sure how that works. She has a combat of 3. And we don't have anything that can increase combat. What's this thing? Choose investigator. Heal 1 horror, and then that investigator tests will. Okay, so that's 3, 6. There's 4 horror there. 2 horror. And that can heal horror as well. So you're going to spend 1 action to place out this. Then 1 action to engage the priest. And then 1 action to attack with 3. Pay a resource 4. Can I do that multiple times? It doesn't exhaust the card, and you can do as many of those actions as you want, right? I think you can pump that. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we can do that multiple times, right? So we're at 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the... Oh, she gets another one for her ability at the start of the game. So we're at 6 combat. Bam. -2 is 4 combat. So that is 1 wound. Wow, all that for 1 wound. Still, 1 wound is 1 wound. Okay, so she is going to engage. Or was there any point of her engaging? So she is not going to engage because she's only got 2, 3 combat. So she is going to go 1 to move into here. And then she's going to do an investigate versus here. 4 investigate. So she has 3 investigation. She's going to discard that for 4, and no one can help her. Okay, this is risky. Come on! -0 because there are no ghouls present. Yes! That is awesome. So we win, and we gain an ally. You blam! It comes down with, what, 3? Of each. Okay, each investigator at your location gets +1 damage. So now, so she moved, you investigated, now she moves, and everyone's +1 damage again. Okay, and now it's our fighter's turn. She is going to engage the monster. That does 1 damage automatically because of the cross. Oh, before she engages the monster, she's going to play out 3 damage. She's no... Oh, she is here. I really need to use this dynamite. Fight +1. Yeah, so she plays out 1, 2, 3, plays out the machete, then she engages the monster and removes the health, and then she attacks for 4, 5, 6, because we have Linda. So that's 6 combat. Let's discard the blackjack. Yeah, bam. Beautiful. That is a pass. So that is 1 damage for killing, for beating it, then 1 damage for the machete, and then 1 damage for the ally. And he's already at 9 health. Wow. So we've done over half damage. And then she'll take 2 damage during the enemy phase. So if we don't kill it next turn, she'll basically be dead. So we've got to heal at least 1 horror for her next turn. So that he's already attacked for the enemy phase. Something weird's going on there. And now it's upkeep again. You blam. And we get a second here. Okay. No one's drawn a whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that is the end of those 2 turns. And yeah, so we seem to be making pretty decent progress on this ghoul. What we need to do now, she's got lots of health, 4 health. She's actually got Duke to soak up some health. She can soak up some health on her. So we need to have her turn in the middle, so we can drag this guy away so it attacks different investigators. I think we can do this. We only need to do 9 more damage. We need a shitload of damage that turn. So she can basically, good chance of winning every time. He's possible to win because we have 4. So as long as he draws, like, you know, a really good card. She's possible because she can discard cards to make it easier. We've also got the knife. Currently we're using the baseball bat though. Yeah, so not quite as horrible as when I first saw it, but I mean, we've already done 11 damage in one turn, so I really want to throw my dynamite, but I can't. I can actually throw it now. I actually could throw it now because I'll have to see what happens next turn when whatever comes out of the deck. Okay, that is that. We're getting into the nitty-gritty of this quest. I think we could just run away and resign, but no way is that happening. That's just not happening, sorry. So, okay, I'll see you guys next time. Right, during editing, I noticed a couple of errors. Probably the biggest one was engagement actually causes an attack, but we can do this thing instead, which is a fast, which doesn't cause the attack. So basically, while I had the ghoul here, I did an engagement to bring over a monster, which I then killed, but the engagement would have actually, hurt him. So basically, by doing that is illegal, but I can play Taunt for free because it's got the fast keyword and it does the same thing, which means we have a spare action that we didn't use there. Also, I'm pretty sure I played out the knife when I had distant voices out, which means that you can't play assets. But we didn't actually use it, we just used Duke. And then I noticed later on, I forgot to take one of his actions when I was sort of going back and forth trying to figure out. So I think that evened out. So I'm just going to leave that there. And there was some kind of error I did with her, which I've forgotten that someone might have picked up, besides not using this to save her all that damage. Still, I'm thinking what I might do is, we've got this out, so we'll just do one test versus 5. -1 is 4, so we'll take 1 more damage off here, because it would have been, we would have not used that token to engage the monster, which means we had a spare action there. So that's that. There's probably other errors. What I'm going to start doing is, basically, I didn't write them down while I was editing. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to do 2 turns of video still, but I'm going to edit the video after first turn and then edit after the second turn. That way I can catch the turn 1 errors and fix them before I start turn 2, assuming that I notice the errors at all. But anyway, that is that. I think we've got a good chance of doing this. I think just using the engagement correctly is going to help us. But it is going to be a little bit messy in the opening stages while I get used to the game. So it is a learning game. But anyway, that's that. I will see you guys next time.